Hello, my name is Gemma. I'm a criminologist. I'm an advanced cultist, and the reason why I'm going to tell you today is because there's a lot of things going on in this world, especially this weekend, and one of them is usually the Ishtar ritual that conducts every year in where is it? California? Was it near the Ring of Fire? Right, concert, the rituals, right? So this one is really based on about how we can sort of underpin these rituals that are being conducted on the masses, and just sort of like bring an understanding what cremation care ritual is actually did, what it means, right? Right, so in this one, really want to get into the ritual that's been conducted every year. Is it Grove or something? Who talks about this? Alex Jones, he spoke about it. I saw this 2011, I was like, wow, this is random as hell. Why would this be taking place? And this is when I really got introduced with like rituals and stuff like this, what it means. This is when I started like really branching into occultism and stuff like this, and what it meant really, right? I didn't ever do any rituals myself, but I just observed it, right, as an observational perspective. So what this actually did was, I think this created a space where an outward projection was taking place. I don't know whose fault it is, but it's an aspect of cremation of care. So what happens is that they think they go there, don't they, and they do a cremation of care ritual, so they don't care about stuff, because they're big in the game, they're politics and all this, politicians and that. Some in the UK, I think that's Bilderberg Group, right? I don't know where that is now. It's gone. It's not on YouTube anymore. I've looked for it, but I saw some stuff in there that all the top politicians, they were all in it, right? So David Cameron was part of it. Didn't he lose his job? Oh yeah. So let's understand aspects of cremation of care. Right, so what are you essentially doing when you go in there and you do cremation care ritual? Well, you might be dissolving care for a few days because you're going on holiday, mate. But let's be honest about this. What are you actually going in there to do? Right? And there's an outward projection, everything spins like the sun and the moon. So as a Freemason, which you all think you are, right? So let's get into understanding Freemasonry. Is it this one? No, it's this one, right? So we have a star at the top, and then we have this, right? This is Freemason concept. So you understand, where's California? Is it here somewhere? Maybe it's here, right? So they're creating what? Because they're Freemasons, aren't they? What you lot Freemasons, mate. Right, so I think David Cameron's part of it, isn't he? Right. So we have to understand that when you take yourself off over there, your cremating care ritual, that's on you lot, mate. Was it on my why tell me as an aspect of one spinning, and my ancestors tell me I'm an Ishtar, right? This is what we understand. This is why it's doodaloo. Right, this is how I've been able to depict all this stuff, what's been going on, right? Because they've done it to me, right? So I'm an Ishtar. So what do they do? Cremation care what over Ishtar? So basically what they're doing is, let's talk about the rituals. Alex Jones spoke about this, but we'll talk about the rituals. He showed us all, it was an owl, and he showed us all the fire burning and all this, right? The cremation care ritual. Right, so they are doing it. Let's just understand them. So they're hard working all the time, right? You got to think that some of them don't even know what they're doing. Hard working all the time, and they go in there and they're just like, yeah, cremation care, so we don't care for 3 days or whatever. 3 days, all right? I'm a 369, by the way. They're doing it for 3 days, right? So they're doing a cremation care ritual for 3 days. For what, right? On an Ishtar, right? My ancestors said me I'm an Ishtar. Well, they're not my ancestors, are they? Right? So, what did they do? Let's get understanding these things. You might not understand as an Ishtar what you're doing to that Ishtar. You're cremating that care towards her, goddess, fertility goddess, right? Goddess of love and war. So what are you doing? Cremating it, all of it. So what you can take a control over our factor, right? So everything that you've ever done goes back onto you times 10, right? If you've done it to me, it goes back onto you lot times 10. Because I had this download that I was meant to be an Ishtar. So what is an Ishtar? Well, this is another ritual I'm going to get into a little bit. I already did this before, but it's the removal of the chakra points. It's smash all your energy points, which they did to me. And what it is it's to break you down, right? It's to break you down, to keep you down so you don't rise, right? Ultimately, you know, you can reignite your chakra points. They can't ultimately destroy them, right? Or can they? I think some people, they can just do it to them, and they're just done for. Like, seriously, right? But not me, right? And all the other mums, you know, Ishtars, mums, right? Can't do it to me either, right? So you know. So we have to really understand, as from a mother perspective, if I was to mother you, as you Bilderbergs, and you you know, all you lot that are up there doing all this stuff, ritualising cremation of care ritual, right? So you don't care, right? So you're showing us that you don't care, right? So you're trying to create from a 3 that you don't care, right? Well, let me just tell you now, we care, okay? We care, right? Gemma cares, and I'm a 369, so I care. So whatever rituals you want to do goes back onto you, times 10, right? Off you go. Now, let's understand this, is that when you want to do this and create that space, and whatever you're doing there, right? I don't know what you're doing. I have no idea. Bird it though. So Alex Jones obviously talks about it. You know, if you want to talk, if you want to read into that somewhere, I don't even know where he is. I think he's been like sued and all sorts of stuff for this. So now we have to really understand what is actually going on, right? So I know Cameron, he's part of Bilderberg. He went there, must have gone there maybe a couple of times, right? Ritual care, what's that? What is it? Right? Didn't he lose everything? You ritualise yourself, mate. Do it to yourself. So now you're standing as a lord. Right? I see you. I see you. Right? And you know who I am as well. And all I did was sit in politics and just say that I think that you're just opening the back door to privatisation. You know, I didn't sit there and like grill you or anything. I just said that I thought you was making the wrong decisions. And you need to rethink your strategies. Didn't I? Right? That's all I did. That's all I said. I'm a good woman. Right? I wanted the best for this world. Right? I want the best for this world. Right? So remember that when you're doing cremation and care rituals, all back on you times 10, and the rest of yours. Right? Because if you're trying to cremate the world of a cremation of care, what is that? On a woman in Ishtar. What is a woman? Who are you doing it to? I'm not going to even correlate this to a religious underpinning. I'm not going to correlate this to anything. I'm just going to really, if you haven't watched my videos, go back and see how I've correlated things together, how I can join religions, and then understand what an aspect of underpinning a cremation of care. Who are you cremating care rituals to? Because what does that sound like to you? Do you go for a wash in there when you're there, when your little parties, whatever? Do you wash yourself? Do you look after yourself? You know, do you do that? And it's kind of like, well, if you do that, then why are you cremating care rituals? Who is it for? The masses, right? Listen to this. If you're cremating care masses for rituals to the masses, right? Then all that energy that you have created, right, over time, years and years, goes all back onto you lot. You're going to feel the burn. And it's sad because there's spaces in this reality where, you know, there isn't care towards young, and it's almost like they don't want to, and it's almost like they're trying to create that space there. So why are they doing this? Are they big corps? Do they know what's going on? Do they know that little kids are making handbags? Do they know that? Do they know what's going on? Do they know that loads of kids are going in care for no reason? Do they know that they're not taking care of these children whilst they're in care? Do you know that it's red taped? Do you know that these things are happening? Do you know that these things are taking place? Does anybody care? Is that the ritual, is it? Because I care, and I am Ishtar. Right? So, the smash chakra ritual that happened to me, well, I'm not a 369 deactivation code. I'm a 369 deactivation then code. Right? 369 deactivation then code. Alright? So what do you think happened to me? Because I was doing criminology. Right? So I got deactivated, but there's a program. It's programmable states, right? So you need to really understand this. So, it's a very intelligent process and design, isn't it? Build a bear, build a berg, build a bear, right? Connotations to this. So build a berg, build a bear, right? Don't listen to bear, basically, right? And, you got to realise that there are skins, and there is fragmentation taking place, or a togetherness that takes place to take people down, the strongest ones down, right? And there's a reason. So everyone who did that ritual to build to the bear ritual from me onto you, it goes back onto you, right? And it goes all back onto you, right? The people who ritualized an Ishtar, all back onto you, right? Because you have no idea, right? Some of you don't have a true understanding of what you're doing in them places, right? So let's understand this. If you have people, big name people, and they just think, oh yeah, they're cremating care because they're just going to like chill out for a couple of days, and they're not going to be, some people are like that. Some people don't realise they're just going to chill out for a bit. Cremation care ritual, oh yeah, we're just going to all chill out for a bit, right? Because that's common sense, right? Oh, because we've been busy, we've been helping humanity. Well, helping humanity, well, that's another one, innit? That's another story. That's another dichotomy we can get into. But we can understand then is that when you all go back there, you're all going to ritualise yourselves. You're going to ritualise your own goddamn selves, right? And so this is how I can sort of underpin how, David Cameron got kind of caught up in the muck, right? Because he got lost his job, didn't he? He was out of work for about 10 years, wasn't he? Now all of a sudden he's got a job as Lord, right? What do you think they're going to do to him next? Mate, you're part of Bilderberg, mate, right? I see you. Bilderberg, right? So if it happens to you, everything you've done to me, that's not my truth, it's not my, you just shoved me in these positions, you can have it all back. And, I'm telling you because I see it. So I think it's happening, isn't it? It's going to happen again in a couple of, is it tomorrow? So it's going to happen tomorrow. Or is it tonight? I'm not sure of the time zones. But let's just get one thing straight, right? Is that, to ritualise an Ishtar, what are you doing? You're smashing all the chakras, you're busting her up, you're making her look like she's a bag of crap, and then what are you going to do? Remove. What is a removal, right? So this is it. You're removing the chakra points, and God knows whatever else you've got up your sleeve to take an aspect of care away from her, right? So this is underpinning rituals that an Ishtar has to go through. Why? Because it's not a mythological concept, it's a ritual-based concept, okay? So every time I talk about rituals and stuff, they are actually a connotation to a ritual, right? So, they do sometimes they do a Lilith ritual on you, sometimes they do an Ishtar ritual on you, sometimes they'll tell you through an ancestor talking to you, right? They'll make it like an ancestor's talking to you, right? And ultimately it's absolute garbage, right? And this is why I say it, right? This is why I talk about ancestors now. They're not real, right? Because they go, they're off, they're not here anymore. And I always knew that as well. So don't get your wires crossed when you think that you played me again when, let's be honest, you didn't, right? Because I saw it. I saw you coming, mate. right? So we understand that an Ishtar ritual is like taking the piss, actually, out of mums, right, and children. So that's the overarching understanding as an Ishtar. And they say, oh yeah, she was never a mum. Well, maybe she was a mum, but you just hide in it. That's another thing as well. They hide it, right? They don't want people to know that you're a mum, or they don't want people to know that. They want you to live off your life and just be like, oh yeah, no, you're all fit and ready to go now. Off you go. You never had kids. You was just, a surrogacy, right? This is what they do. And what they do is they use the children as financial assets rather than, I don't understand why though, because I don't understand how putting a kid in care can give you a financial asset unless you're doing child trafficking, selling kids and that, right? So I don't know how corrupt this ritual is. But let me tell you now, it stops and it goes all back onto you and your families. Let me tell you now. Right? And I'm not doing it to myself. Boy. I'm doing it to everyone who's done it onto me. So back onto you. Right? So off you go. Right? And sort your little lives out. And then you can bring back and take out and understand aspects of care. So this really got me into understanding care homes and stuff like this. This is when I studied criminology. Because it was in like 2011 when I saw this. But 2013, I was doing care homes, right? I was doing researching and I was doing assessments on this, right? I was doing assessments. I was writing about how children should not be in care, right? Children, right? So this is your little Ishtar ritual. You're going to cremate a care ritual, are you? Well, you're not. It's all back onto you lot and your families and your kins like you just did to everyone else in this whole bloody plane, right? So let's get into this. The ritual that was taking place on an Ishtar is like completely different to what I'm going to talk about now. But this is like, I'm going to try and bring it together to understand to what length, to what extent are these rituals taking place? To what extent are these people pushing down a narrative of cremation of care and then it actually happening to the people in this realm, this society? So I went in, I didn't even know what I was doing. It's almost like it was all just joining to me, but now it's kind of coming together. So you have to understand that when I wrote about this, I read so many horrific stories, and you got to think all these kids are in care. They're in care, right? Because I studied care and what was going on in the care homes and stuff. So now you got solicitors and that, some of them really good solicitors, right? Because I'm not slagging them all off, right? But they are. But some good solicitors because they're trying to get these kids to have their money back, compensation for like all these care homes that have gone into that they've corrupted and they've not looked after these children. And my concern is that this cremation of care ritual that is going on in Bohemian is actually a cremation of care ritual on the children, right? And it's scary because I don't want this to happen. I do not consent. We as people and the public do not consent. There's more of us than there is of you. Have it back, right? Have it back, right? Listen. I don't matter if people want to watch me or not, but let me tell you now, there's power in this. I'm 10 men, mate. 10 men. That's why you have to build a bear. Get it? Right? So, you've got to understand the reality of these rituals that are conducted from beyond, right? And then you have to understand that the cremation care ritual, what are you doing? Because what's the what's the word to use? Care. We care about this, we care about that, we care about things, right? This is empathy, okay? And I don't know if you lot get it, but it's an empathy concept. And it's not just because you want to have 3 days off, it's because they're trying to create a cremation care for what? So that people don't care. That's the point. And I'm having a go. Full blown having a go. You cannot go around and do this to people, right? Because it creates a revenue. There's many more things that can create a revenue, sweetheart. There's many more things that can create these spaces. You don't need to do cremation of care on children. right? Because it's disgusting. So, whew. So, on this note, I just want to underpin an aspect of care, okay? So, I'm not an Ishtar, I'm a Gemma, and I care. Gemma cares about these kids, because I'm Royal Archangel Gabriella, right? Royal Archangel Gabriella. Then she cares about the kids, right? And when I build a bear, it was my bear to save me. And if he didn't, he can go to hell as well, in a handbasket, right? In a hand basket that I weaved, or my mother weaved herself, right? To give to me. And your little watch is a timer, because it's ticking. So all you little Anunnakis out there seem to think an handbag was made by a little kid for £500 that you're buying, he didn't even get nothing for it, or she didn't get nothing for it, or the little watch that they all made and they didn't get nothing for it, but all you corpse supping on it, just know that it's got more to do with the fact that just because you are in 3D realms controlling realities doesn't mean that you can take it all down, right? Because you are not part of a human race if you destroy aspects of humans. You got to jump back through on these streets. You know that, don't you? You lot have got to jump back through on this grass. All of you. On the grass. That's where we all fall in it. In the end, you know, come out and we fall out on the grass. And then what do? We feel. We have to remember these roots. Where do we come from? What beliefs do we have? You might not have had a good mum, but maybe there's someone else that was a good mum, right? And I'm a good mum, so you can swallow, mate. Swallow. Lot, yeah. Right? So you have to understand that, you know, just because you had a good life and you survived to do these rituals on these people, mate, it's come back onto you lot. Come back onto you lot. Right? And a lot of times, people who are solicitors, they do it. They do the rituals, right? And then you've got the dissolving of the government. So who's helping everybody? Right? It's gone. It's gone. Who's doing it? Judgment. Strength. What? Satanism? Because I don't think a lot of Satanists want to do it either. Right? So it all goes back onto you lot. And you accepted it as well. Some of you have accepted that these things are just normal processes in life when it's not. It's wrong. It is so wrong. Like, to put children in these places and leave them there and make them think that their mums and dads aren't good enough in their minds. It's a manipulative tactic to what? Create what? Crime, to create, pushing us down into holding spaces so we never rise, right? This is what they're doing. And they're doing it to women, right? And it's because Ishtar did have children. Ishtar always had children. She was a fertility goddess. She always had children. So what are you doing? Burning Ishtar. Because she's a fertility goddess. So what? You don't want her to have what? Because it's not like you want to delete. It's not like you want to stop it. I mean, you did a bit of eugenics on us, didn't you, when you did your jabs? But let's be honest, you didn't want to stop, you know, the mass population, because I'm pretty sure you could infertilise a lot of us, but you didn't want to do that, right? And there's a reason. It's because you obviously have engaged in this world where you want to create something. You want to take, so you can use it as a financial beneficiary, right? So this is where you're getting into the children, when you get into care, kids being put in care, you're getting people who are just wasting away. You've got children in Egypt getting took down into the tunnels. What are the tunnels? This an ideology of depicting a tunnel of Set, right? So what is this, right? What is that tunnel? What am I showing you? What does this mean, right? So you have to stay strong in these and understand when we have to rise, okay? We know what's going on. We're going to take you all out. And this is the reality. Like, we're not joking. Like, I didn't come here to sit here and have a tea party with you, right? You didn't come here and have a tea party with you, babe. Yeah, I might have links. But let me tell you now, I didn't come here to sit and have a tea party with you. I'm a 369. Rest and digest. That's all you lot. Go in there thinking you're clever. Sitting there, getting too big for your boots. Took away from it so long, didn't you? Took away from it so long. And this is the reality. It's because you don't care, right? So you did a care ritual, so it stopped people from caring who actually did care about what they were doing in their jobs, in their positions of power. You removed that as a ritual to stop people from having what they're meant to have, just to do a financial beneficiary on the masses. Well, it stops now. It stops now. Everything that you have done onto these women, these children, goes back onto you lot, right? And you can sit there and say, oh, we're going to do this. Oh, we're going to do it. I know, I studied it. I know what you do. I know what's going on. I know what's been going on. I know what you do. I know what, because I studied it, right? I went to the depths of hell to pull these kids out. Right? Some things have been programmed. Okay? Understand what I'm trying to say to you. Some things have been programmed. And then some things have been reignited to usher in these things that we don't care. Because when you get seers, they see everything. They don't, if you've already been programmed, they don't care, right? So you can be programmed already. So it depends what kind of position you're in, what position of power in. You might have just been programmed into that. You might not have kids, right? Because this is another thing. They stop you from having kids. So you don't become that father matriarchal energy, that father archetypal energy, that one that sits in the belly of your crook. When you knew that you could have had them, you could have looked after them, you could have protected them, you could have saved them. And it's almost like they take that away from you. So you become a shell of a human being. And they do it to you guys up there that are doing the rituals themselves. As a mother, I come to you. What would your mum say to you right now? She knew what the bloody hell you were up to. Right? What would she say to you if she knew what the bloody hell you lot were up to in there? Doing all that? She'd tell you off. Right? She'd smack your ass probably. Right? It's too far. You've gone too far. Gemma Haley, criminologist.